Hi, Steph.
Hello.
It's episode 255. We're back. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us once again for another Comic-Con-tastic episode of the Fubar Show program.
Woo!
Yeah. Before we get into anything, get yourself your very own Fubar Show merch at fubarshow.com. I got it right this time.
All right.
Find all kinds of items like t-shirts, totes, travel mugs, magnets, and baby onesies, and tons of colors and styles. Go to our merch page found at fubarshow.com to check it all out. Next up, click on the link Click on the link for SoCal Rock Band, The Fallen Electric, at the bottom of fubarshow.com for music, tour dates, and merch. This Saturday, December 11th, I will be at Canyon Inn in Yorba Linda, California with The Fallen Electric, playing from 9:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Great food and a full bar available for you to come out and properly enjoy some jams with The Fallen Electric. Also, shout out to Digital Stereo, who has been debuting The Fallen Electric. Digital Stereo is a Mexican radio station covering rock and roll from all across the Americas. Listen in at digitalstereo.com.mx to catch new music from North, Central, and South America. Lastly, Grass Store, everybody. One of the best cannabis delivery services I've ever dealt with, bar none. They service LA, Orange counties, and select parts of the Inland Empire. Go to fubarshow.com and click on our Grass Store banner, and first-time users get 30% off of their purchase. Thanks to those who continue to click on our banner and continue to show us some love on that side of things. And now, episode 255. Here we go. From Filthy Martini Studios in Ontario, California, it's the Fubar Show! Hey, what is up, everyone? I am Joe C.
And I'm Steph.
Thank y'all very much for listening into the Fubar Show. Remember to hit subscribe and be sure to rate, review, and tell a friend like a champ. You can always get in touch with us and get our swag at fubarshow.com. That's FOObarshow.com, and search FOO Bar Show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out and drop us a line, and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. Ain't that right, Steph?
That's right. And congratulations on getting that intro right.
Yeah. Yeah. At least 95% of the whole thing came out pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, today is going to be somewhat short, probably. Every time we say that, it's never short. But it actually might be because we don't have a whole lot going on. Josh is off. The Foo is not present. Yeah, no news there.
Fooing around.
And it's just you and me. And what we really wanted to discuss today was a lot of our experience at the LA Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, so
right.
It's now normally Comic-Con, isn't it during like October?
The last few years, it's been in October. I think there's one year it was in September. But yeah, usually around the time of year.
And right before, the daylight saving goes from daylight to standard time.
Standard time.
Yeah. And so it gets a lot darker a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's colder, which I guess, if you're one of the cosplayers who are going around in this thick and really hot kind of leathery garb.
Oh, yeah.
It's not so bad.
Well, this time around wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But usually when it's
hot.
in like October, September.
It's fucking hot.
It's like 80, 90 degrees outside.
Right.
Sweating.
So we figure, this entire episode, and we'll still talk about music towards the tail end of the episode, but the only thing we got on tap is a Geeking Out. And you just want to geek out?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Okay, nerds, let's go!
Geeking Out is brought to us by Titty Titty Bang Bang. Smith & Wesson now makes a high-quality banging lingerie. Get your sex on at Titty Titty Bang Bang.
That reminds me of those fembots from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Barrels just come right out of the boobs. Pew, pew.
Pew pew. Indeed. No, yeah, those are fun. As a growing up, watching those Austin Power movies, I learned a lot about sex just watching Austin Powers.
Right.
And I'm like, so that's what boobs are for.
Yes.
For murdering people.
Exactly. Don't get close to beautiful, attractive women.
Yeah. So
They'll kill you.
a lot of today's Geeking Out will encompass the LA Comic Con. But before we get into any of that, I wanted to geek out about the that Get Back special on Disney Plus that I just finished watching today.
The three parts, right?
It's a 3-part docu-series. Peter Jackson directed it. And so it was put together to tell the story of pretty much the last ever live Beatles performance with all 4 of them, plus Billy Preston, when they got on top of that rooftop there in England. And that was the last time they all ever played live together. Of course, this was there's more to that story than probably I've ever known. So the way it was supposed to go down, it was January of 1969. Nice. And they were getting together to play a live show, and it was supposed to be like a live for TV show. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be like this presentation where initially the TV, I guess the live thing was supposed to be them playing the album, the previous album, but no, they said in the last minute, let's give ourselves 2 weeks to write a whole new album and play that live.
Who made that request?
I think it was I don't know, it might have been a combination of John and Paul, and then George is kind of funny because in the middle of the whole thing, George walks out. He's like, I'm pissed. And I think it's because a lot of the decision making was coming straight from Paul and John, because those are the 2 main, as far as we know, those are the guys who drove the Beatles music.
Right.
However, George Harrison, I think, has always in history been underappreciated. In fact, he's my favorite Beatle because he's the most intricate, more intelligent writing of the 3, front guys. Mm-hmm. But he was always the quiet Beatle, Nobody's more quiet, though, than Ringo. You can't help but love Ringo. One of my favorite parts in the entire 3-part series was Ringo. Okay, so they were sitting, it was Ringo sitting on the floor, and there was other 2 kind of production guys on either side of him. They were listening to Paul go on this monologue about what direction they should go in and that kind of thing. And in the middle of the whole thing, just completely disregarding what Paul even just said or acknowledging what Paul just said, Ringo just goes, "I've just farted." And I was just going to keep looking at you guys in the eye and just say nothing, but I just felt I had to say, just let you guys know I farted. And the funny part to me was not the fact that he came out and said that and interrupted the entire flow of Paul's monologue, but that nobody even fucking batted an eye. Like the guy next to him, he was just who was down on one knee smoking a cigarette, just kept smoking a cigarette. Paul didn't acknowledge nobody acknowledged what Ringo just said, but he's just fair warning, guys.
It's just Ringo being Ringo.
Everybody played the straight guy in that little bit, in that little 5-second bit. And I couldn't stop laughing. I had to pause it to just laugh because it was so funny, because it just came out of nowhere, in a completely serious moment. And he's just I've just farted.
I wonder if it's one of those things where he does that all the time.
So and just like John always fucks around too on the mic. It's funny because you just watch them create these songs that ended up being in that Let It Be album that later was produced or overproduced by what's his face who shot that lady, did the Wall of Sound.
Oh, damn it. What is his name?
Everybody's screaming at their speakers right now.
What is his name?
Let's see, Wall of Sound. I'm looking this up now.
Oh, my God. What is his name? Phil Spector.
Phil Spector.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, everybody can stop screaming now.
Yeah, we got it, guys. We got it. Yeah, Phil Spector. He's the guy. He allegedly pulled out a gun on John Lennon in the production of that Let It Be album as well.
You know what? I've heard that story before. That's his go-to thing. He'll
pulls
just
out guns when he's mad at somebody.
yeah, and then
And he ended up killing somebody once, and now
It
he's
didn't
in
work
jail.
out.
Now he's in
didn't
jail.
work out.
And so anyway, you see these songs get created, like Get Back. That's the one where it's just fucking like Paul just noodling around his bass. Dun, 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 and then George joins him, and Ringo, like, he is one of the least appreciated drummers in the history of rock and roll. Everybody kind of bags on him because, he wrote silly ass songs like Yellow Submarine and Octopus's Garden. These songs that they're so G-rated, they're so basic, but it's part of the Beatles. Like, it still has the aura that it's Ringo just being Ringo. And he's probably the most lovable character out of this whole documentary. Like, he doesn't throw a fuss. He just kind of goes with it. And his timekeeping and his drumming is so precise. It's so smooth that I thought that he was very underappreciated in the history of the Beatles. Probably still is. I don't know. Maybe people are turning the page with that, turning a corner with appreciating every single member of the Beatles. Because they were all very important in their own ways. I mean, ever since John Lennon, George Harrison, Ringo, and Paul went their separate ways and wrote their own albums, it has never been the same again. Maybe Paul McCartney, maybe when he was with Wings, maybe. But no, I don't think it ever came close. John, maybe?
Maybe?
But there was always Yoko kind of there, just poisoning the well.
Hovering over him like a dark shadow.
Yeah, and she's a big presence in this documentary too. So it was worth the watch. Definitely interesting, especially being a musician and being in that environment pretty regularly where you're with like three other guys and you're trying to put together this artwork, amongst the three of you, and then you go home and then you come back the next time to rehearse and you're like, I got this idea, here's some lyrics, let's do it, let's put it all together. It's interesting, their process was very similar to that.
So, in your experience, if nobody walked out, do you think they could have gotten all the work done within that 2-week time frame?
They were still, I don't know. Paul was the most optimistic because Paul was the one driving everybody like, all right, guys, let's go. He was kind of like that guy.
Yeah.
And because John would have also been that guy, and he was, but then Yoko was there kind of just interrupting and distracting him like regularly. She was just right there. The rest would have their wives around too, and their lady friends. But they weren't just like sitting with them while they were playing or rehearsing. Yeah. Like Yoko was. They were just kind of chilling in the back and toward, against the wall or something. But had George not walked out, I don't know. I think by then they had written only a handful of songs. I think their goal was something like an entire album, which to them, I guess, was around a dozen. Yeah. I think Let It Be ended up being a dozen or so songs. Wow. So, you see them kind of put together Let It Be also, Long and Winding Road, all these songs that have gone down in history as like one of the best albums, collection of songs. And then you get the Phil Spector flavor on that Let It Be album. And then they released Let It Be Naked. And you're just like, God damn, these songs are still good. And you get to hear the Let It Be Naked as they're creating these because it doesn't have the Phil Spector wall of sound with the violins and the horns and all that shit that he puts on it like he did with Motown. So, wanted to geek out about that. If you have, a lot of time on your hands, I think this is upwards up to like 6.5 hours, all three, if you just watch them back to back. Yeah. But I watched them in doses, in maybe 6 sittings. And the thing was that Peter Jackson was given all of this footage and all of this audio from the span of all of January of 1969, from the second week, I believe, of January to the last day of January, where just all this footage, it was like 60 hours of footage and way more than that of audio. And he had to piece everything together and to end up with, according to, some of the articles written and some interviews that he's had and has given, he's said that, he cut it down to 30 and then he cut it down to like I don't know, something like 11 or some shit like that. I don't know the exact number that he said. And then he cut it down to a certain number where he's just like, I think, which is what the end product that we got now of 6.5. And he's just like, guys, I can't cut it more, more than this, because all of this is gold. Like, I think at that point he was feeling like, if I cut anything else, people are losing out on a lot of important shit. And
it would almost be doing a disservice to the story.
And this was funded and produced by the John Lennon or Yoko's estate, along with George Harrison's wife and Paul McCartney. He's still alive. And Ringo they all had something they had to say in the final product of it. And they said, no, this is good. We'll just chop it up into 3 parts. The first part was like the first couple weeks, and then the next couple weeks, and then the last week, where they actually play the rooftop, and how they got there. It's awesome because it showed their personalities, and they're all very different people, but they all come together to write some great music. It still goes down in history as some of the great musicians in rock and roll. So. Check it out. It gets my thumbs up. I don't know. I'd like to hear people's opinions on it. If you guys want to write in or give your opinion too. I'm curious as to if Josh has even watched it by now. Probably not.
Know what? He's pretty on point with everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's at least watched the first
one. Yeah.
Part.
But this is like you have to either be a Beatles fan or a musician who appreciates old classic music like that from the 60s, because there's a lot of repetition. Like they go back to like Get Back. They repeat it. They're rehearsing. They're pretty much rehearsing for a show.
Yeah.
So you have to have like patience with it and an appreciation for what they're trying to accomplish. So if you, I guess what I'm saying is that if you don't like the Beatles, or you get bored easily from creating art or watching somebody create art, like a Bob Ross kind of situation, you're going to be bored. You're going to be bored real fast. So I wouldn't expect the Foo to even bother with this, because he's not cultured like that.
No.
It's not his vibe.
He'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he'll take my word for it. So,
right, Foo?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about freaking LA Comic Con, man, because we were there fairly early. You rushed me out of bed and you kicked me out the door, and you drove us and our friend Christine over
our unpaid intern, Christine.
Is that what she is?
She was our unpaid intern.
Okay.
For the day. And
so we walked around the Comic Con, and it was a little different this year. Not only was it in December, but aside from that, the layout was different.
Well, okay.
Somewhat from what we're used to.
Let's backtrack, because the reason why we got there so early is that we were trying to avoid waiting in line for hours on end trying to get through security, because the last year when we went, 2019.
Okay.
The last time we went.
Yeah.
Christine and I were waiting in line for 3 hours just to get through security, because we got there so late. We probably got there, 11 o'clock?
Oh, wow.
Like almost midday.
Okay.
And you guys had the press pass already. You had gone, I think, the day before. Mm-hmm. And Christine and I were going the day after. And we had to go through security. And it was just brutal. We were just waiting in line. We're missing all the panels. So that's why I was like, this year, that's not going to happen. So woke your ass up early. We got there, and there's like parking galore. No problem.
Yeah. Within seconds, we just go in and park.
We're only the second person in line to get through security. Badges, check. Just wait for the doors to open. Mm-hmm. We were chilling. And you know what I liked about Comic-Con this year, which I didn't see before, was the bars.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I appreciated that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 8:30 in the morning. Get some drinks. Let's go.
Yeah. That was nice. We got some whiskey, and then we fucking hit the bricks with that.
Mm-hmm. We got some great footage that Christine provided for us, with some nice commentary with the door opening.
Right.
because we were on the second floor, waiting for the doors to open, and the first floor was just packed full of people, cosplayers, press, industry. Everybody's there waiting to get in, and I was not about to wait in that crowd, so that's why we were chilling upstairs having a drink.
Yeah, everybody's not respecting the 6 foot thing anymore, are they?
No,
but everybody's vaccinated though in there.
Right. So you did have to, show proof negative test or vaccine.
And then everybody was wearing a mask.
So they were pretty good about that, and nobody was being like a total douche about it. So
Right.
it worked out.
Right.
Okay. So we get in there and we're walking around, and like the first part we do, there's a lot of opportunity for photo ops. There are, what was the first one we did? There was a Dragon Ball Z background, giant blow up Godzilla.
Yeah. Good old Derpy.
Goguru was there.
Yeah, there's a giant, baby Yoda or Grogu.
Yeah.
That was just at the beginning of everything when you walk in.
You got the Kirby was there. The car, they had, you can donate to get into the Pizza Planet delivery car.
Yeah.
I think it was like $15 to sit in the front seat. So like they usually have those donations for charities. And the perk is you get to have a photo op inside one of those cars, which I thought that was nice. Walking around the floor, we actually saw a tattoo parlor setup.
That was dope. And you know what, man? I probably would have gotten a tattoo if it wasn't a $200 minimum, because that's the tattoo that I want is just the Stonecutter's symbol on my ass, like Homer, or at least make it look like Homer supposedly is a birthmark. It's supposed to be a birthmark, and so it's not really the ass. It's kind of like the hip area,
right.
I guess, or the meaty thigh area, I guess. But anyway. And but no, not for $200. I mean, if at that, I probably would have just gotten sleeved up, but I wasn't about to drop all that cash.
So I thought the tattoo setup was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but there were no privacy screens, so everybody was just kind of laid out on the table.
Right,
and there was this one.
It's like a hair salon in the middle of the mall.
Right, and there,
everybody can see what's going on here.
There's a table with books of previous tattoos, so just in case you don't have an idea, you can look through it. Oh, I like this tattoo, let me just get this one. Or you can just create your design there.
Right.
And it's just open seating. Some tattoos, depending on the size, like you guys know this, it's going to take a while or it's going to be a few minutes, depending on what you get. And there was just this one guy, and he was just laid out on the table, shirt off, getting tattooed on his belly. And I thought it was pretty interesting because I haven't seen that, I think, at this kind of con before.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I sure as hell have
it.
it. This is probably my third visit to LA Comic Con, and this is the first time I see a tattoo. And not only and they were getting customers.
Oh yeah, there was a wait.
It was a wait to for people. It's like, oh shit, okay. I should come prepared next time with a design or something. Just or we can just go to the tattoo expo that's down the street every other
6 months or so.
Yeah, you go check that out. But anyway, yeah, man, that was fun. What else did we see?
You know what? I really like the cosplayers. There was a great Doc Ock, and he actually put
there was two really good Doc Ocks that showed up. I liked both of them.
The first one that we saw, he actually had Spider-Man's mask in one of the claws.
Ah, yeah, that was a nice touch. Yeah. At first I thought it looked like a thong, and I'm just like, all right, Doc Ock got busy. It turned into one of those hentais where literally it's just like octopi tentacles going into every orifice.
Crossover.
Right. And I was like, no, it's just Spidey's mask. But the other one was a much larger, he not only was the guy taller himself, but the actual arms were more, I don't know, they bent in so that it kind of boxed them in a way, caged them in, but they were long and really cool looking.
Yeah. I want to see them battle.
Yeah.
Both Doc Ocks. Multiverse.
You had a lot of multiverse esque type of other Spider-Man. Like I saw a lot of noir Spider-Man, which is easy to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a spy versus spy, but with a black Spider-Man mask.
I saw a Captain Spider-Man. So pretty much just Captain America with the Spider-Man mask.
Oh, crazy. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Same colors.
There was a lot of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
Uh-huh.
There's a
Saw
lot
a
of
lot
that.
of green hair there.
Yep. No, it's the green robe too.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man everywhere.
Of course, you can't not see a Spider-Man.
Surprisingly, there were a lot of Power Rangers. There was a lot of Green Rangers coming out there.
Because Jason was there, man. Yeah, we had the Green Ranger, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, aside from all the cool cosplayers, they got a lot of big names for the panels too. John Leguizamo, the Smallville cast,
SpongeBob,
Tom Kenny, fucking Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Fucking Zachary Levi was there.
Kevin Conroy.
Oh,
Batman.
But yeah, he usually makes an appearance, so he's kind of a staple.
Yeah.
But it's just a treat to know. He's like, in voice production, Vince Scully, number one of all time, and then Kevin Conroy.
You're talking about most recognizable.
Most appreciated, let's protect these people at all costs.
Okay.
Like,
that makes sense.
So I guess Betty White, Vince Scully, Kevin Conroy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No?
Well, you're forgetting one of the greats who we lost a few years ago.
Which is?
Chikrin.
He's dead already.
Well, yeah. But
I'm talking about let's preserve
voices.
the ones we still got.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Chikrin's cool, I guess.
Yeah. All right. I'm just saying.
Maybe right after Kevin Conroy in my books.
Well, it's biased because they're from California. I mean, doing California sports.
But I'm talking about Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Right.
He's on the list.
All right.
Higher up.
Cool.
He'd be my number one, though.
All right. Moving on. So what else did we see?
Doesn't appreciate it. Do you hear that?
What else did we see?
We saw... What else did we see? Jesus. Yesterday, you know what? It was such a blur because we were just going aisle by aisle and trying to catch everybody in the main stage and trying to catch the panels. So the way that it was set up, they actually opened up the West Hall for the video games, and in between the South Hall and the West Hall was that corridor with the panels and the photo op section.
Yeah, different rooms for panel opportunities and all that stuff.
And I like the way they set it up because it allowed more space in the main hall compared to previous years where it was only in the South Hall. And it's just packed. It's just way too crowded for the number of people that are there. So expanding it to the West Hall just made it more breathable, made a better Comic-Con experience.
Yeah, and it spread people out too. If they wouldn't have done that to kind of open it up in that way, everybody would have been jam-packed into the main freaking convention area where the main stage is, and it sprouts out from there. Because I've been there a couple of years ago, back then it was before COVID, but it was just that. They didn't have those other wings open, those other panel rooms, and that esports area open. So it would have been way more people than, there was a lot more elbow space, which I appreciated. And speaking of cosplayers, remember Kite Man? We saw Kite Man.
Oh,
nobody ever dresses up as Kite Man, too.
Nobody.
And this guy, so I guess him and his wife was Poison Ivy, which is appropriate for those who like Harley Quinn, the animated series. But, everybody was like, oh shit, it's Kite Man. And then, or...
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell, like, in real life, the Poison Ivy, like his lady friend, wife, whatever, she was kind of getting annoyed, or she was just like, the fuck, I'm Poison Ivy. I'm supposed to be, like, the one that people care about.
Right, and her costume was nice.
It was good.
It was nice.
It was good.
Poison
yeah.
Ivy, you know, it was a little cold, so she wore the leather jacket, but she looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
And
the red hair was nice.
The red hair was nice, and I come up to her. I was like, "Hey, can I take a picture of you and Kite
And
Man?"
Kite Man.
And her face was just like, "Oh," and she just like tugs her guy. She wants a picture, and I was like, "Ah,
Kite Man. Hell yeah.
He said it too.
He said it.
Said it in character.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was cool.
excited.
So anyway,
I'm so
speaking of those little panel rooms, we went into a panel room which gave us 2 panels, like in a row, because it was with the same production crew of Bat in the Sun.
Yeah.
Bat in the Sun, for those who aren't familiar, and trust me, you likely are, especially if you're a fan of this show, you would probably follow all of these other kinds of things that happen throughout YouTube and shit like that throughout the years. But Bat in the Sun is the same production crew and company that has brought us Superpower Beatdowns. And that's when we saw like Batman versus Darth Vader, Predator versus Wolverine, Spider-Man versus Darth Maul, like live action duels between, 2 superheroes or major characters that don't necessarily belong in the same universe, in the same, DC. It could be a DC versus Marvel character. They've just gone nuts with this, and we've seen copies of this with other production companies. I think most recently I saw like a Hulk versus Superman. I saw a Superman versus, what was it from
Who? From
Invincible, Omega Man? No, that's not Omega Man.
Oh my God, what is his name? Okay,
That guy.
We're gonna.
Well, now we're awful.
Omega? No, it's not Omega.
It is.
Oh, something.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It's gonna be Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
Oh man.
Omni-Man, voiced by
And Homelander.
and Homelander.
And so it's Superman, Omni-Man, and Homelander, and One Punch.
Holy shit! One Punch.
Yeah, and One Punch just beats the shit, like he wins because he's One Punch.
He was a One Punch Man. He doesn't even have to
He's
try.
the strongest, at least in this animated video. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Bat in the Sun. Bat in the Sun does the live action ones, and they're fucking badass. Now, in particular, we went in there to watch their latest production called Dying is Easy, which is supposed to be, well, it's not supposed to be, it is like a 22-minute-ish video, not counting credits, a 22-ish minute video of like a small story of Batman figuring out something about the Joker because he supposedly killed these cops.
Right.
Yeah, he captured and killed these cops, but it's like a psychological episode for Batman because what he did to resolve the issue, which, I mean, the Joker already killed these people, but to resolve the main big picture was to bring peace of mind to their families because they hadn't known what had happened to their husbands in the force.
I feel like this short played out beautifully as if it were taken out of the pages of a comic book because I can see this laid out on the page and I can see the struggle that Batman's having, even though you can't see his emotion, you can still feel it.
Right. Well, I think even the acting that happened in just the lower part of the chin,
Yes.
I thought was, the way he cringes his teeth is cool. The way he kind of like, his did his embouchure when in reacting to something that the Joker was telling him.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. So anyway, I wanted to read the Indiegogo that went into this, and that's how they make their money for these kinds of productions. It's all crowdfunded. So this doesn't happen if people aren't interested in making shit like this happen. And so they did this episode of Batman, and what this particular page of Indiegogo says, some of our earliest films featured the Dark Knight, so now we want to return to our roots. But this time, with your help, we can create something bigger and better. We want to create a short film featuring Nightwing, Dark Knight, and Clown Prince locked in a battle of words that gives an in-depth look at their complex characters. This is something that we have yet to see in live action. And it features Kevin Porter as Batman. He was a good Batman. That guy's tall, too.
Yeah.
He's a tall dude. He's like 6'4" or something.
6'4", pushing 300 pounds. Like,
nah, he's not pushing that hard.
No.
He's like 250-ish.
Okay.
Give or take. Big guy. He's built too.
He looks
towers over everybody.
He looks like a
because he was
Batman.
there. He was there at the panel, and he walked across the down the aisle, and I saw him in person. Tall guy, and then also featuring Aaron Schwenkel. I hope I am not saying that right. Schwenke as the Joker. I thought he made for a decent Joker. He was also one of the producers of the.
He co-directed it with his dad.
Yeah, and so I thought they did a magnificent job. The way they made it all look, the darkness, it was very much like, not only like you said, like the pages out of a comic book, but also like it reminded you a little bit of the animated series.
Yes.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like at least it had the same attitude,
Yeah.
the same vibe.
Because it definitely had that dark color scheme, like you were mentioning, and it just had that Joker craziness that we all have, without it being, too in a way where, like, it was just too adult oriented. If you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like anybody can follow this,
right.
and it would still be appreciated by all groups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the suit looks amazing. They did a great job with that. The Batmobile, all that cool stuff. And you know what I appreciated the most out of this is when I took a second look at this episode that they created, the way it's laid out in the script, the way the dialogue takes place. It take away all of the visuals and just give me the audio, and it would make for a really good Batman, like podcast episode.
Oh.
Or like, just a 30-minute, audio only thing. You could still follow. You don't need the visuals, while the visuals really enhance the shit out of it. But the audio itself, because, I think they did a really great job with the music behind it too, which was the director who also did everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I totally agree.
So anyway, this is what they had posted way back when. The stretch goals are, if they get up to $25,000 in funds, their main goal is a short film featuring 2 characters diving into their psychological makeup. And it's kind of like a cat and mouse game. If they raise $30,000, it'll allow us to add other character cameos. If they would have raised $50,000, it would have allowed them to extend the short film and feature more action. $75,000, this accomplishment allows us to extend the film and feature more action and more characters. And then at $100,000 money raised, this amazing accomplishment allows us to add in everything we can possibly dream of: a much longer film, intense action, huge sets, and many more characters. So I believe that they had said that they had reached the $75,000 one.
Yep.
And
then
that's what allowed them to create that 25-ish minute episode.
Right. And like what they were saying with different characters, if you watch the film, you're definitely going to love their rogues gallery. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you who's in it. Just watch it for yourself. You're going to love it.
Yeah. And then immediately after, they invited on Jason David Frank.
Woo!
Yeah, for those who don't recognize the name Jason David Frank, he was the Green Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. Nobody ever, at least as a little child watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, gave us a more in-depth, darker villain than Tommy. Like, he gave us the business for like 2 or 3 episodes.
He was so mean. He was mean.
But he was under Rita's control, right? And Zed, right?
I thought for sure the Rangers were done. Like, this guy was just going to just whoop everybody, and that was going to be that.
Mm-hmm. Nope. This guy gave the Rangers the business for 3 straight episodes.
He's like, psych.
And then it became a good guy, and then he joined the rest of the Rangers, and then he was the White Ranger.
And then he was able to play that flute with his helmet on. Nobody questioned it.
Nobody questioned it.
It's the magic of TV.
Right.
You just love it.
Nobody gave a fuck, dude. But anyway, the reason that he was on was because in a separate Indiegogo, Bat in the Sun Productions also was able to create this now full feature movie called Legend of the White Dragon, the Power Ranger inspired film story who features and stars Jason David Frank. Among some other, and also the guy who played the Batman in the previous thing we just
Kevin Porter. Yeah.
That we just talked about.
So Bat in the Sun raised $500,000 for this film, which is amazing.
And it is. I mean, it looks great. The Legend of the White Dragon. It's like the suit that he's wearing. I guess when he's morphed into it, it looks like a power. It looks like the Red Ranger in white, as elements of the White Ranger and the Green Ranger. There's a diamond on the top of the helmet, which is also like in between the eyes of the dragon eyes,
reminiscent of the crystals.
Of the crystals,
Remember
and
those?
then the big diamond also that the Green Ranger wore as the chest shield.
Yeah.
Thing.
What I like about this is that, just like we talked about dying is easy, this also has a darker undertone to it.
It's a very mature Power Rangers.
Yeah. They from what they were saying in the panel, they wanted to get away from the Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a Power Rangers movie without being Power Rangers,
right.
With Putty Patrol, waiting for them to transform.
It takes away the silliness of what the Power Rangers, the campiness. There's no campiness anymore to this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Power Rangers were the Adam West 66 Batman. This is the Christian Bale Dark Knight kind of attitude they're shooting for.
I can see that.
Because I think we're past the 80s and 90s Batman, because those are campy too now. In a way.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely made for somebody that grew up with the Power Rangers. But also, I feel like if you haven't seen anything of the Power Rangers, you would still enjoy this movie because it looks like it's action-packed. There's a lot of stunt martial arts in it. And the storyline actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. One thing that I liked what they said is that if you just take away the superhero element, it is still a very good story. Of what the trials and tribulations of the main character, I guess. I don't know specifically what the movie's going to be about. We got a taste of it in the trailer that they showed, which was the very first time that Jason had seen it. So he was all excited. He got in the front row.
Yeah.
It was kind of cute. he was like a little kid and like excited to see something for the very first time.
And this is the debut of his daughter. This is her first acting gig.
Yeah. So she's in there playing his daughter.
Yep.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, man. So apparently this particular project began in 2019 as a Kickstarter campaign with a short teaser release to promote the campaign. It was a very basic teaser, which just kind of gave you a picture of the helmet and then the logo. And by April 2020, Kickstarter reached its initial goal of $100,000 to produce Legend of the White Dragon as a miniseries. Later in May, the campaign reached ultimate stretch of $500,000, solidifying Legend of the White Dragon for a feature film release. So this follows the titular White Dragon, played by Frank. He isn't the only Power Rangers alum, by the way, making a return to this type of storytelling. Jason Font, Power Rangers Time Force, and Sierra Hanna, Power Rangers Megaforce, are also involved with the project as well. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Nice. Reprise the role. It
also stars Mei Ling from Suicide Squad, King Batch of Greenland, and Mark DeCassos of John Wick 3. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a lot of people who are very familiar with how to make an action movie or action scenes and sequences.
King Batch is the comic relief, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. He was in the trailer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was like a hologram.
Yeah.
Right, in the trailer?
I want to see what that's all about. So the trailer's out. I think they said they were releasing it today or Monday. I don't know. It will be out there if it's not already out there. Go check it out.
There's a lot of Power Ranger similarities from the costumes to the premise. I guess the premise is somewhat similar to the Power Rangers. It might have to do with some kind of Zordon looking motherfucker. I don't know.
We'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see. So they're not even done filming it. They have a few more days of filming.
Yeah.
Then
I can imagine there's a lot of CGI though that they need to work on before this thing gets released.
Yeah. But from what we got in the trailer already, just, oh my God, looks so good.
What do you think? You think they're gonna go rated R with this? They can do whatever they want, right?
They can.
They want to be true to the attitude that they want to portray.
I can see it going rated R with just the violence and gore alone.
Mm-hmm.
If they're gonna do it that way.
Right.
Otherwise, PG would work too on a darker tone, but
that's not happening. They've said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean,
it's gonna
Jason
have to
David
be-
Frank, he said that he's excited for playing this more mature role. He's not Tommy Oliver by any stretch of the
No.
imagination. This guy's name's going to be Eric Reed. He says, I can finally express on television that's not for kids. Nothing that's PG-13.
Right.
This is not like, it's going to be something way more intense.
Is there something between PG and R? Or does it just jump to R?
Well, there is a NC-17.
Oh, that is no children under 17.
Right.
That is a not safe for work program that you're referring to.
But R, yeah, because R, you can be 17 with an accompaniment of
An adult.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess that's it.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. Well, and then you get into X and shit.
Well,
So, speaking of, how would one differentiate between 1X, 2X, or a 3X pornography?
oh, that
Is
is.
there such a thing? Is there, or is it just X rated?
I think.
Is there a difference between the X's?
We're gonna have to
Is
look.
it like
this up.
alcohol? Like how many X's do you have in your moonshine kind of thing?
Well, what classifies an X in moonshine?
I don't know. Maybe the amounts or
man.
the proof?
The proof. Okay, well, usually moonshine is like 90 proof, right? Can you have 90 proof?
That's gasoline, probably. You
Well,
put it in your tank.
A lot of moonshine.
So then-
people went blind.
So what? There's just more dick and vag in a 3X than there is in the 1X?
Is it like, just a single couple versus like an orgy type thing? And it's just gross?
We'll research that
This will be on the next
on
episode.
the next episode. It'll be a very special episode of the Foo Bar Show.
A very, very
Yeah,
special
very special.
episode.
Anyhow, what the fuck are we talking about? Oh, yeah, we're back to Comic-Con. So,
Legend of the White Dragon.
oh, Legend of the White. Oh, shit. No, I was done, right? We were done. I thought it was pretty cool that they reached a 500,000. I mean, they could potentially reach a higher number if they keep this going.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I
unless
bet.
they have some actual other types of, financial backers to this.
Yeah, but that's amazing with crowdfunding like that, because now, like what they were saying at the panel, they're not listening to the company that's producing it. They're listening to the fans because
Right.
the fans are paying for it. So that makes for a better movie.
And now you have evidence that there's an audience for this. You actually
Oh,
have
yeah.
financial evidence that like this amount of people care so much to donate so much of this money, of their own money, to get something like this made. Probably for, I don't know, they get their name on the credits maybe. I
Usually
guess.
that's what happens.
That's what-
yeah.
and then they get some swag on the side or something.
Depending on how much you donate, there can
Right.
be like, oh, you get this free T-shirt if you donate like a certain amount, or if you donate even more, you get to be on set.
Right.
Yeah.
So cool. Now I noticed that you have a couple of books here on the table.
Oh, yeah.
What did you want to talk about with one of these? Because
All right.
we stumble up against one of these guys that wrote, and I don't know, did he draw
So
this comic book?
we were walking around the aisles and I saw this cover for the Time Bandits. And it's a story about these 4 raccoons.
The Christmas Bandits.
Oh, the Christmas Bandits. God damn it, I can't even read. It's about these 4 raccoons that help Santa Claus defeat monsters to save Christmas. And we met the writer for the book, Brian
Monge?
Monge. I hope I'm not butchering that, but I probably am. And he's a pretty good dude. He works. God damn it!
Mm-hmm.
This is happening.
Yeah.
This is the point where
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Every single episode this happens. So
jeez.
he was in collaboration with the
Gonna let you crash and burn right now. Go for it.
God
Go
damn
for
it,
it.
I was on a roll. Ariel Olivetti illustrated it, and Ariel worked on a couple of projects for Marvel and DC, so they both collabed, and the artwork looks amazing.
It's pretty cool looking.
And
It's like can you picture remember that big buff ass Batman that was it The Dark Knight animated movie
yeah.
where he was all big looking? That's what Santa Claus looks like.
Santa Claus looks like a beast. Like he just deadlifts at all times.
That's all he does.
Yep.
When it's not Christmas, he's fucking lifting and he's just being a badass.
He's all yoked out.
Oh, dude, he's huge.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of
Juggernaut status.
Oh yeah. There's definitely some magic in here. There's a little bit of sci-fi, and I think it's a pretty cute Christmas story.
Yeah. What's the age target range for this kind of comic book, would you say?
You know, I would say it's definitely for a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is violence in it.
Right.
Might not be for younger
kids,
children.
I mean, kids who like comic books are going to enjoy something like this, though, right?
They're still going to enjoy it, but it definitely reads like a young adult comic book.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only...
So 4 raccoon, does it explain like an origin story of how they met with Santa, those 4 raccoons?
So these 4 raccoons were up to no good.
Of course, as they do.
Started making trouble in the neighborhood.
They got in one little fight and their mom got scared. All right.
And, Santa knows what everybody's doing. And so Santa hit them up and he was just like, I don't want you guys to do bad anymore. So I'm going to have you roll with me. And the rest was history.
He said, "You're home. Smell you later." Right.
Yeah. So I don't want to give too much of it away.
Okay.
But essentially, because Santa's lived so long, he's made a couple enemies.
What the fuck?
And there's always people trying
Like
to...
Krampus or like what?
There's, monsters and
Uh-huh.
actual humans trying to steal presents, as they do.
Okay.
Santa's there to, get some bully
Keep
beat
'em
down on them. And now he has some coons friends.
Right.
Pew pew.
Are those laser guns? What are they?
They have on the cover, they have laser guns. One has a katana.
Nice. No, the artwork was pretty... I can appreciate the shit out of that artwork, not having read it yet.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth.
Just looking at it. Yeah. And then so as we continued walking along the aisles there, you stumbled up upon an author with a legit looking freaking book here, like a sci-fi book called The Ship by Doug Brode.
Yes.
He was cool to talk to.
He was a fun guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was open and we got a few words with him. But The Ship by Doug Brode. I can't wait to read this.
It's also on audiobook too, apparently, like on Audible or pretty much anywhere where you get audiobooks. So I know that's mainly how you consume things, but you're actually going to try to read this?
Oh, yeah. Like I have, there's
Like with your eyes and shit?
there's loads of books here at Filthy Martini Studios.
Yeah, there's a big library here.
There's a huge library here. So this is another one for my collection. So I'm going to read the synopsis that's written here on the back of the book. Deep within the snow-crested mountains, 9,000 feet above the lumber town of Blackwood, Oregon, a vessel has arrived. It is a craft of enormous dimensions covering the mountainous peak, and yet the ground beside it remains undisturbed. Not a single pine tree broken, not a sound to be heard. Inside the craft, however, things are not as quiet. A young waitress, Casey Stevens, awakens after having mysteriously vanished from Blackwood 35 years earlier. And she is not alone. Navigating inverted tunnels, she is plagued by ghost apparitions from her past and stalked by ravenous alien experiment gone horribly wrong. When Casey discovers her own body is changing, becoming botched with gray scaly patches, she fears she may face the same fate as the once human creature that now hunts her.
Dang. Crazy. So
chills, literal chills.
that's a cool premise. That's a real cool premise. And we actually, it was his idea to record him for a little bit, talking about it. So we actually got some audio and video of us talking to Doug Brode. So let's play it. All right, so here we are at LA Comic Con. We were here with Steph and Doug Brode. Steph just bought a book called The Ship, and we all know that Steph is all about, aliens and X-Files and things like that. But so this caught her eye. What's up with this, Steph?
So actually, I will let Mr. Doug tell you all about it because I just happened to come across this just on the fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have done a lot of storyboard and concept art for movies like Star Trek, Iron Man, Thor, Harry Potter, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to write my own story. And I created a story about a woman who gets abducted and wakes up 35 years later inside a crashed UFO and she's trying to escape. And maybe not everything is quite as otherworldly as people might think with UFOs and this and that. So I have different theories about that. So I put all those theories into a book. I had the idea for about 10 years, and it took me about 2 years to write it. And the second book, The Ship Returns, comes out this summer, or summerish.
What was the inspiration behind it, or did you already kind of have this?
Well,
was this a brainchild that you had for a long time now?
I created a show called Forbidden Science, and they put a lot more TNA in there than I had originally meant to. It was supposed to be a sexy show, but they went farther than I had meant it to be. So I sold a couple other scripts and I optioned a couple and they just ended up on shelves. And I loved the story. I had this idea for 10 years, so I decided just to keep it. And then I finally wrote it into a book. The inspiration came from my love of X-Files and Alien, the first one and the second one, The Thing by John Carpenter. And I wanted to take the 80s and 90s tropes and kind of bring them up to date for today. So if you like those kinds of things, I think you might like the show.
Very cool, very cool. And this just came out?
It came out this summer.
Okay.
So it's been out a couple months.
Okay.
And then the audiobook just dropped, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh, very cool. Okay. I know that's how Steph tends to consume her books, through an audiobook.
The long drive to work.
I like a book. I like the words. I like to read it, because I don't want somebody else's voice in my head.
Yeah.
But the audiobook, a lot of people asked for it, and the guy we hired did a great job. So, so it's available in any format imaginable.
Very cool.
Oh, except Braille. We don't have it in Braille.
Uh-oh. Hey, one of these days maybe, right?
What would you say your all-time favorite sci-fi movie is?
Well, certainly The Empire Strikes Back inspired me to be an artist. It's kind of tough to beat Lucas. Especially if you grew up in that time period before Marvel and all this stuff. Star Wars really was an anomaly. There was nothing like it when I was a kid. But there was John Milius's Conan the Barbarian, which is fantasy, but it's basically Star Wars with swords. What else? Aliens. 82 had a great run. 82 you had, The Thing, Road Warrior, E.T. Although I don't watch that, it makes me cry. You had everything in that. Wrath of Khan. Everything that came out in this 18-month period. All of my favorite movies are basically from an 18-month period of 81 to 83. So
that's how music was back in 91 and 92. when grunge was exploding. So that's kind of the same feeling you get when you watch your movies from back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will be reading The Ship for sure on the podcast.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking a chance on a new author. So thank you.
I can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he was a really cool guy. His wife was is the lady being heard in the background selling, the book to other people and other merch that they had going on there on the table.
Yeah, so he mentioned Forbidden Science, which is actually playing on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that a series?
I believe so. And he mentioned he was on the art team for a lot of projects. Mm-hmm. Did the storyboards for Star Trek, Iron Man, Thor, Looper, older movies, Van Helsing. He's great.
He also did the storyboard for the Foo Fighters' new horror movie called Studio 666 that's coming out soon.
Oh, yeah,
So
you were
he's-
mentioning that
he
movie.
did the storyboarding for that too. So so this guy has a good resume.
Oh yeah.
So, and the fact that he understands and appreciates those tropes from the 80s and 90s and is putting it into the story called The Ship. I'm excited to listen. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook.
Yeah,
you're going to be the one reading it. So.
like I'm gonna dive deep into this book.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Just based on his background and love of science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't wait. This looks like a great read.
Yeah, for sure. And then after that, I think that was towards the tail end.
That was
right?
towards the tail end, and Christine, our unpaid intern, left us for a while
Right.
to take pictures with Tom Welling.
That's right, Tom Welling, the Smallville Superman
Yeah,
guy.
our hometown hero.
Right.
Is that what we're calling him?
That's not what I'm calling him, no.
We're not from Kansas.
Nope.
What did she say? Okay. Most of you have never seen Christine before, but she's this short little bright-eyed girl, and she gets super excited, for just random things. So she gets there, and she's I'm not in the photo with them
Right.
because I'm over here interviewing other people, and she just comes up and she does her little happy dance. It's almost like dogs are tippy tapping. That's what she's doing. And her eyes are bright and she's smiling, and she describes his reaction as the way that she's reacting. He just mimics her face
Yeah.
with wide eyes.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And the picture came out pretty cool.
It's cheesy as fuck.
Right?
She's all excited and smiling, and he's just kind of there, just chilling. Sup? Yeah, I thought it was. You know what? I probably would have gone for some of those photo opportunities, but that it's COVID times. There's a plexiglass in between you. You can't be.
Yeah, but in the picture, you can tell there's plexiglass there, but the picture itself still looks really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who you're standing next to.
Yeah, I guess.
It's for safety.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh?
Tommy Wiseau.
We saw Tommy Wiseau
Tommy
in the
Wiseau.
fucking flesh. He so he would have his mask on, but if he took a picture of him, he would get behind his own little kind of booth, plexiglass booth, so he could take his mask off.
Yeah.
But he was fucking there, man, throwing football around.
Yeah, he was having
just
a great
talking to
time.
people, signing stuff. You can buy the posters, the movie, the Room, and he'll sign it for you. You can buy all kinds of underwear with Tommy Wiseau on it.
I almost did it. I couldn't do it.
I would have probably ended up buying the poster and had him sign it just for irony purposes and frame it and put it up here somewhere in the Filthy Martini studio.
Oh, damn it. We should have.
But whatever. That was it was cool to see him. I snapped a picture of him.
Yeah.
It was cool. But yeah, man, it was a great time. It was a great time. We only went for the one day. Actually, you went on Friday to pick up the badges. And you actually walked around for a little bit just to kind of get the lay of the land, right?
I walked around for a little bit, and there was maybe just a handful of people there. I went to the Hot Topic booth to check it out. There are a lot of things, a lot of exclusives were already sold out Friday night.
Jeez.
So I can imagine Saturday. They probably had some reserve left just for Saturday. But those exclusives go by fast. And those are usually the Funko Pop toys. They had a Spider-Man, and then they had the Batman animated series Two-Face, which were the hot items. And the Two-Face sold out, so I couldn't get my hands on one. And that's the way it is. But they were showing their line of clothing. And I really like there's a Mandalorian line. There was a nice long sleeve Mandalorian dress for whoever wants to wear it, but I liked it. It had the helmet. I mean, no, it wasn't Mandalorian. It was Boba Fett. It's fucking Boba Fett.
He's a Mandalorian, so it counts.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. You have anything else you wanted to talk about? The food trucks? Those are cool. We got barbecue.
You know what? It was probably the best experience at a convention for food because we were only in line for 15 minutes just to order.
And get our food.
And get the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in that line, we got the barbecue one.
Oh, yeah. It was
There was different kinds. There was tacos, of course. There was all kinds of fusion ones. Mediterranean, Greek, ice cream.
Ice cream from New Zealand.
New Zealand ice cream, because so they mixed in fruit with the ice cream.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Christine got some, and it was nice and flavorful.
Hot dogs, burgers, of course, but like
course.
their way, I guess. I don't know.
More drinks outside.
Yeah, there was another bar out there too. You can get it's full fucking bar.
Yeah.
Get your drink on, but you had to pay for it, of course.
Of course.
Those convention prices. But yeah, good experience. I recommend. I felt, and you don't feel uncomfortable at any point. Everybody's trying to really respect the security measures for COVID,
Right.
and
Yep.
stuff like that. It's a bitch wearing a mask all day long, but if you work in a place where you have to wear a mask all day anyway, it's just another day for
Yeah.
you.
And there were some people that were wearing like a full face shield, in lieu of the mask.
Yeah.
So I did see some of that.
Yeah.
So you're still protecting yourself.
Also,
somewhat,
for the
but yeah.
sake of their cosplaying too, it wouldn't make sense if their face was covered, because that probably would take away from the cosplay itself. So they were wearing the plexi face shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is okay.
So this was Comic-Con's 10th anniversary. We've been going almost every single year. I think there was a couple years that we missed. But at least Christine and I go every year. And we will definitely be back next time around.
Yeah, and a special thanks to Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con in particular, for providing us with press passes, man. You guys are freaking awesome. We'll continue to cover LA Comic-Con. It's you could see its definite growth. Like, it's definitely maturing and getting more towards that main, it's one of the main Comic-Cons.
Oh yeah.
It's come up now.
It's definitely in good competition with the San Diego Comic-Con for California.
Yeah. And we've yet to check out the New York Comic-Con. I'd like to check that out at some point.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because
that's a big deal too.
Those are international Comic-Cons.
Right.
The LA Comic-Con is specifically just for this area.
Right.
So I haven't been to an international one yet. Hope to go next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Well, that's going to do it for Geeking Out. And all we have left for the episode here is music highlights. So we'll be right back.
Nerd! I said a hip. I wanna rock!
The music highlights is brought to us by Notepads, the new feminine hygiene pad with a subwoofer built in.
Ooh. That song is juicy.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Well, anyway, I wanted to talk about a couple of songs that I've discovered within the last couple of weeks that I've been wanting to talk about and showcase here on the show. The first is from a band called Daphne's Couch. The song is called The Judge. Check this out.
Called you at 2 in the morning. One drink and I get a warning. Don't mean to be disappointing. Babe, when did you get so boring? You treat me like some kind of animal in a cage. Like I've been so terrible. I'm accused of having a really good time. Why you gotta be the judge? We were just having fun. Saying it's out of love, but I'm not guilty for what I've done. Why you gotta be the judge? We were just having fun. You're saying I crossed the line, but I can't read what's in your mind. Why you gotta be the judge?
Yeah, it has a good dance feel to it, and it has good lyrics too. So everybody check out Daphne's Couch, and also add them to Instagram. They look like they can be bigger than they are, man. They're a really good band. This next one is one that caught the both of our eyes. Actually, it was probably the first time that I've heard this song in its entirety. I think I've only listened to little bits and pieces of it. It's by a duo called J.J. Wilde and Billy Raffoul called Born to Die. Do you remember hearing this one for the first time in the car yesterday?
Yeah,
on the way back, I think, from Comic-Con.
Yeah, the folky.
Yeah, it's kind of folky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's check out Born to Die.
Do you remember when we were younger? Felt the world fall at our feet. All we had was time to wander round and round so aimlessly. Suitcase waiting was my shelter. Traded into just stand still. Didn't think I'd want forever. With you there's only time to kill. With you there's only time. Some were born to win, some were born to lose. I know it's dark, but I swear it's true. You don't know when, you don't get to choose. But I was born to die with you. I was born to die with you. The simple life scared me to death. How can you swear you'll never leave? To the next kiss I'll hold my breath, hoping that you'll wait for me, hoping that you'll wait. Some were born to win, some were born to lose. I know it's dark, but I swear it's true. You don't know when, you don't get to choose. But I was born to die with you. I was born to die with you.
I always like these kinds of duo, folky kinds of, acts. And it also gave me a lot of Pete Yorn vibes, which I liked a lot.
Oh, that's a name we haven't heard for a while.
Yeah, I like the way that they harmonize amongst themselves. The both of them, J.J. Wilde and Billy Raffoul, they're their own acts. They're their own kind of singer-songwriters, and they came together to make this 3-song EP called Born to Die. And it's very kind of Fleetwood Mac-y. It has a bunch of other cool elements to it. I think that they have a lot of cool things going on, and their voices sound really good together. They have the track list on this EP is Born to Die, Let Me Go, and Colors. So if you haven't already, go check out the Born to Die EP. It's anywhere you can find music. This last song I wanted to showcase is another song that I really, really enjoy called Wildfire by The Heavy Hours.
Wildfire, I'm on the hill again, wasting hours, looking down onto spires. You're on my mind again, it's out there for you and I. We've been chasing time, but I see your smile as we dream of something better. Place your hand in mine and don't close your eyes. I'm dying to tell you I wanna dance with you wildfire. I wanna burn in your flickering light. You and me just run away. You and me just run away. I wanna burn with you wildfire and feel the heat from your flickering light. We were born to run away. You and me just run away.
I really like the way that this song in particular is produced too. Apparently, the producer is the same guy who did the Lumineers and the Avett Brothers, Simone Felice.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has that kind of flavor to it.
I hear the similarities now.
Yeah, so it's no surprise that he wanted to work with a band like this. And they're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is one of the songs that are in their latest 5-song package that they've released.
Okay, I like it.
So yeah, very in some ways folky. I really like it. I don't know. It has acoustic guitar in there. They really emphasize its presence in the production. Very percussive too. A lot of toms are being used there. I really like it, man. I really like it. I hope I hear more from these guys. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the music highlights for today. I know I already talked about the Beatles documentary, the Foo Fighters Studio 666 coming out real soon. That's gonna be fun to discuss on the podcast. And yeah, man. So that's gonna do it for the music highlights. And as for the outro here, I don't know what else to talk about. We've discussed everything that we've been doing, but if anything else, I mean, I'm going to be at Canyon Inn this Saturday, so come check us out. That's over in Yorba Linda, California, from 9:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m., playing my guitar there with the Fallen Electric for 4 hours. Our drummer, Charles, is back from visiting Costa Rica. That's where he's from, so I can't wait to ask him how that went.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. He used to live in Costa Rica. That place is a freaking paradise. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was living vicariously through his Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And it just looked so peaceful and relaxing.
Yeah, he went for a couple weddings apparently. So he even spent some time in some resorts too, which is like fuck. What the fuck? Yeah.
We're over here working like suckers.
Yeah, like a fucking sucker. But yeah, man. Yeah.
We may not, or we may have a special
We'll have an end of the year podcast.
sexy Christmas. We'll answer your questions about the exes. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
I don't
We're gonna
know.
do
I don't know. We may or may not release one. I'm probably going to release, if not next week, the following week for Christmas. Or that, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But expect a couple of freaking best ofs is what I'm saying. But after that, we'll have one last one for the end of the year, likely towards the last
shebang.
Yeah. And we'll go from there, man. And hopefully, Josh will join us again back in January, or at least maybe for the one ending at the end of this year. And then that'll be that. Oh, I would like for us to vote on what's the best freaking fake commercial or fake sponsor too.
Oh, nice.
We can vote on which one and we'll play it again.
Let's.
We'll do like a small quick bracket,
Okay, so damn it. Now we'll talk about it off here.
Okay.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
All right, we can talk about it now. Nobody gives a fuck.
No, I was gonna say whichever sponsor wins needs its own real commercial, like video commercial
That we film? Okay. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. Okay, cool. I'm down.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Or maybe the top 2 or 3. We'll actually make commercials out of them.
Right, and that could be our season opener.
No, I need more time than that.
Oh, you need more time.
Yeah, I need more time.
Okay. All right. Well, it's FUBARD already.
No,
so
no, it's
we'll
fine.
see.
I'm not promising anything like tomorrow. You know what I mean? I just need time. I've never made a commercial before. It's only been audio for me. Yeah, all right. You know what?
Well, I'm going to help
right.
you. I'm going to
You're
help
right.
you.
We should have done this off air. God damn it.
Just cut it.
Thank y'all very much for listening to FUBAR Show. Remember to hit subscribe and be sure to rate, review, and tell a friend like a freaking champion. You can always get in touch with us and get our swag at FUBARShow.com. That's FOOBarshow.com, and search FOOBar Show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line and we'll fill it up like a couple of food. I've been Josie.
And I'm in Steph.
Signing off saying...